Hi guys, welcome to Phoenix Flight Manual. I'm Kesi Afiya, and today I am doing a video for you guys. It's an open tarot reading, so generally when you do a tarot reading, it's the reader and a person, maybe even a couple, but in this case, it's an open reading. So when I do a reading for a person, I'm going to tap into their energy and what's coming through for them. In an open reading, it's more like I'm tapping into certain messages, and whoever is guided to hearing it and receiving it, that's who it's for. So this is going to be a pick a deck or like pick a group reading. So there's going to be 3 groups. Take your time, think about, just kind of sit with those numbers in your mind, 1, 2, 3. And if you want to pause the video, go ahead and do that. And just take a moment, sit with those numbers until one of them really is kind of calling out to you. And then there'll be timestamps below, so you can just go ahead and skip to the point in the video where that group's reading begins. So the intention that I came into doing this reading was to channel messages for the purpose of helping us all get in touch with our intuition. So yes, I picked a group too. And so that's something that I've been working on lately in a big way, realizing there's a lot of big shifts going on for me. So it's required me or pushed me, forced me to change the way I'm doing things. Like this process, I saged with Palo Santo, I meditated, I prayed, and that was just over the whole reading. For each group, I chose a sound healing piece of music, tapped into the energy of that, channeled a message, and then pulled 3 cards for like an overall kind of message advice to go with those channeled messages. This is all a new system for me, so I haven't ever done my readings like this. So that's what my intuition was calling for me to do, and also offer a reading helping others get in touch with their intuition. So for everyone who chose group 1, here we go. So your channeled message, group 1, your title is Come to the Light. Come to the light, my dear, see in it all the love there ever was and ever will be. Step into the waterfall of possibility and potential. Allow it to wash away yesterday, leaving a clean canvas to create with tomorrow. Drink up, love, for this nectar of divinity is one intoxicant that one cannot overindulge in. A replenishing life elixir for one's very soul. Saturate yourself within and without. Let it pool beneath your feet and splash about as you move freely, cleansed anew. Okay, so that was the channeled message. Now, the overall advice card, or cards, plural. I'm gonna show them to you one by one, but first I wanted to mention that this group Whoever this message is for, whoever is resonating with this, there's a lot of fear, a lot of like really intense kind of in the body kind of fear. Like when I pulled cards for this group, it, like my whole body became really tight and tense. And yeah, there's just a really intense kind of energy of fear. So with that channeled message and then picking up that vibe, I'm definitely just getting the overall message that it's really a really important time for you to really find your way to tapping into what is most sacred in your true depth of experience of life. And once you tap into that, just kind of letting that really kind of move through you, and anything that's kind of conflicting with that, contrary, in dissonance with that, you can kind of see it more clearly and then choose, do you want something that's in conflict with whatever feels most transcendent to you. So the head cards, so the overall advice that came through, you got blessed, you got Knight of Wands, and you got the Seven of Coins and the Lovers. Okay, so the message that I got from that, the overall advice for this group, if you're looking for love outside of yourself, you're going to be waiting a real long time. It ain't coming, by the way. So this is your way to tapping into the love that is infinitely available to you. I think sometimes we can kind of idolize loving connections to the point where we believe that love is only real when it's coming from one person to another. And this idea of self-love is kind of just like a catchphrase of New Age spirituality. But really, self-love doesn't have to be about, embracing every single flaw that you have, like that I love myself, so I'm just like, forcing it in a sense of like spiritual bypassing of like, I just love myself. When really, to tap into self-love is to tap into love within yourself. It doesn't just have to be love for yourself, but love within yourself. So to me, the next closest thing to love, or it's kind of like a aspect of love, is gratitude. And you don't actually need to be in a loving connection with another person to tap into that kind of love. And it is the most profound love. So with this blessed card, I'm definitely getting very strongly that if you really take the time to really take stock of how blessed you are. And it may require you to really take a look at some of the circumstances other people are dealing with in the world. Like, really take a look and really take stock of it. And to realize how blessed you really, really are. And to really just embrace the level of gratitude that can afford you. And allow that to inspire you. Allow that to feed your passion. Whatever it is that you're really passionate about, how can you take all of your gratitude and allow it to feed your passion? The best way to do that is to take your passion and offer it to the world in a way that is of service. If you are an artist, like a musician, then you're gonna take your passion for music and your gratitude for the blessings that you have and share that with the world. Yeah, so that's the overall message for group 1. Love isn't just something that exists between two people. There is so much love available to all of us in so many different forms. So be open to love in that way. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to pull a card for what is your intuition asking you to examine about yourself, your life, your situation, and what is it asking you to express? So what is it calling you to take a closer look at, and what is it calling you to express? So here we go. Okay, so your intuition is asking you to examine signs that it's already been sending you. So that's, I don't know why this one's just so freaking bright. But it is, basically the message that's coming through is it's, your intuition's trying to tell you something. And it's just trying to get your attention right now. And basically, as soon as you give your full attention to your intuition, and what I'm getting to is like through that channeled message and some of the energy I was picking up through this group is like all that fear and anxiety is really a distraction. When you want to get in touch with your intuition, it really takes focus, and it's easiest to get to that deep level of focus when you are at a deep level of calm. So whatever you can do to get yourself calm, so you can just open these messages that are just waiting for you inside of yourself. And then it's also asking you to look at We've got the Three of Coins. What are you working on? Is it something that you can be proud of? Is it something that you have to remind yourself to stop and eat and sleep because you're so into it? Or is it something that makes you kind of feel like a slave? Are you investing yourself into, or your efforts, let me say it like that. Are you investing your efforts into things that really matter to you, that really resonate with what is stimulating for you, what you care about, what you're interested in, what you want to do? And then also got the Emperor. So your intuition is asking you to look at how you hold your power and use your power, your sovereignty. Basically, the Emperor kind of represents that. Out of all of the tarot, you have 4 different kings, but then you have the Emperor. So he is like the highest of ruling power, dominion, and your intuition is calling you to look at how you hold that space. Do you even hold that space within yourself? Judging by the level of fear that I felt come through that that reading, is like, no. Someone who's really in charge of themselves is not going to allow outer circumstances to overtake them in that way. So do whatever you've got to do to take control over your experience, and step into that light. Let that light, like, I like to think about it kind of like Iron Man is like just taking in the light, and then you store this huge amount of power that just allows you to kind of go above and beyond when you allow it to really charge you up. Okay, so that is group 1. And I feel like my battery might die, so I might have to do a separate video. Or should I chance it? Let's chance it. Okay. Oh, sorry, I was about to move on to group 2. Group 1. So that's what your intuition's asking you to look at. What your intuition is asking for you to express. So what's in you that is you're really feeling called to express, but maybe for whatever reasons you're just holding back. So, Treasure. It is so bright you can't really see. And what's coming through there for me is inner treasures. Inner treasures that are really wanting to be expressed. And why not, right? Express your treasures, share it with the world, let everyone, you know, marvel at all the wonders and enjoy it all together. You've also got the Ten of Cups. And very bright. And the Ten of Cups is all about your emotional fulfillment. So this is like totally the opposite energy of what I was getting that you're in, and 100% the energy of the channeled message, of that coming into the light. That's what it feels like. to step into that kind of stream of light, that life force, that flow. It feels fulfilling. So when you do tap into that, even if it's only for a moment, do something with that. Write in a journal, whatever way you are most called to express that feeling, whether it's a song or painting or calling someone that you haven't talked to for a long time, and you know, have just been thinking, or you just get like an epiphany about them, you know. So once you're in that flow, act on it, do something with it, because if we're trying to practice getting into that flow, we can kind of like go into it, experience it, oh, that was so nice, and then kind of lose touch with it and forget how nice it was. So when you do something with it, first of all, that multiplies the energy, but second of all, it's like a record of that experience, and it will draw you back more and more, and it'll bring it into your life in an actualized, manifested way more and more. So I'm getting that message, and the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is definitely fearless. He's fierce AF. He's very clear, he's very direct, and he is arguably the most assertive of the knights, but also he can be reserved in a very kind of clever kind of way, like taking its time to do it, like just nail it on the head. So be fearless, take the time to get your clarity, and remember that you have the power to focus your mind in any direction that you choose. And wherever you choose to focus, that is your reality. So that is the reading for group 1. And I am going to put this into a part 2 because I'm just worried that my phone, like my battery is going to die. Just kind of annoying. But that's what's happening, okay? So group 1, good luck to you. And thank you for watching. If you think that this reading could be helpful to someone else, go ahead and share. And thank you for liking, subscribing, watching, and supporting the channel. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye. Okay, so group 2. Your channeled message. Group 2, Ascend. Okay. So Ascend is the title for your group, for your message. Here it is. A staircase stands before you, ready for you to ascend. Lift your head up to see the great heights to which you can climb one step at a time. Be patient yet sure, for there can be no losing your way now, as the path is directly in front of you. Where you stand now is exactly where you are meant to be, and the only way is up. Baby, for me, you are. Okay, group 2. And then your overall message. This is my group, by the way. So the overall message got the Tribe. Then got the 10 of Wands and the 6 of Wands. So to me that was kind of pretty clear cut with the channeled message to align with like-minded people, people who are on the same path as you, people who have the same values, the same kind of mission, if you will, in life, who resonate with you, and work with them to lighten your load. This can be sharing the load. The 10 of Wands can represent taking on too much yourself, but it can also represent recognizing that it's too much to take on yourself and choosing to share that load with those who are in the same experience as you, who are on the same journey as you, and that will lead to a successful outcome. Like the channel message said, the only way is up, so it's just a matter of going one step at a time and allowing those who are really behind your cause and about what you're about to assist you in that. Oftentimes just knowing that other people are in it with you is enough to take that burden off. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards to see what your intuition is trying to call your attention to examine, and what it is trying to call your attention to express. What is your intuition asking to be expressed right now? Okay, so I'm going to pull a card from each deck for both those messages. Tarot is actually a really great way to get in touch with your intuition. The way that I used it to really help me develop my intuition was to really sit with a question that I was, wanting more clarity on, and then feeling into the answer as much as possible, then doing the reading, and then seeing how much that lined up with what I was already picking up on. So I'm just shuffling, clearing the energy from the last group one's vibe on out of here, so we can get a nice clear message for you guys. And for me, this is the group I chose, so you know what's going to be on point. 2. What is your intuition calling for you to examine? All right, so we have Yang. So that masculine energy. We have the 5 of Cups. And we have the High Priestess. So basically, the message that I'm getting through this together, what your intuition is calling for you to take a closer look at, especially with the imagery of this particular card, the Yang. As you can see with the 2 hands, really kind of open and offering almost to the world. To me, it's coming through as your intuition is calling for you to take a look at what control you have over any hardships that have, you know, taken a toll on you, any past experiences, any current experiences that are drawing you into an experience of kind of grief, which a lot of us are going through as all these shifts are happening. Plans that we had, things that we were invested in, you know, there's a lot of that going on for all of us. And then the High Priestess represents intuition, divine wisdom. So it's kind of like the message is to see how you have the power to choose that divine wisdom to basically resolve any of that suffering that's coming from the hardships or any lingering experience attached to that, you know. Even if you've gotten to a stage of like, okay, this is what's happened, not fully letting go of that so that all of your bandwidth and energy and focus can be on, okay, what's the next thing? Okay, even if you don't know what the next step is, like Abraham Hicks, if you're familiar, has this term, be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready, which to me means you don't know what opportunities or what's going to pop up, what's around the next corner. So be ready for anything, especially what you want the most. So that's what your intuition is calling for you to take a closer look at. And then what your intuition is wanting you to express. I really feel like, okay, so I've got out to sea, which is all about going with the flow. And then you have Ace of Wands. Now this is very much the card of passion, that this is my purpose kind of passion. And then you got the Fool and Death. So this is actually the vice versa deck. So every card in the tarot has 2 sides to it, you know, just like everything else. And so we've got the rebirth side. That was the other way it could have come out, which is more true to the death, the traditional meaning of death. but this is more on the rebirth aspect. And coming out with the Fool, it's basically sending a message to me that what's wanting to be expressed by your intuition is kind of like this very like raw, naked, new you. Like in the Death card, there's like a naked woman dancing through a field in the background, and it's very much the vibe that I'm getting. This go with the flow, to see card with the Ace of Wands and the Passion. It's really giving me the message of not overthinking anything, and to really tap into that passion without hindering it, that flow of creativity with, well, should I do it this way, should I do it that way, and just letting it flow through you. The Fool coming out, the Fool is about taking a risk, taking a leap of faith. And so I know for me personally, I can be quite colorful. So especially in doing this channel, I've had a lot of like reservations about like, maybe I need to filter myself a bit. And I would say in this message, it's like, no, don't do that. Just let it rip. And enjoy the freedom of that, you know. It's going to be like a breath of fresh air. Yeah, so that's what your intuition is calling to express. So this is also giving me a vibe of like flow state. If you know what that means, it's kind of like people who are like fire toilers, and they just go into a state where they haven't necessarily choreographed a routine to do. They just do whatever they feel in the moment. So a flow state, and you can do anything in a flow state. That's just a good, you know, like visual representative. You can clean in a flow state. You can do anything in a flow state. And yeah, so the message is get in that flow state. Don't hesitate. Don't hold yourself back with doubts. Just go for it. Okay, so group 2, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And if you think of somebody who you think might like to do this reading too, go ahead and share the video. And I will see you next time. Bye. Group 3. So everyone who chose group 3, here is your channeled message. Journey. Journey is the title of your channeled message. Journey within, deep into the center of you, to explore the infinite universe that exists within. Do not be afraid to explore the dark spaces that dwell there. Allow yourself to see this as a reflection of our cosmos. Though dark and intimidating in its mysterious expansiveness, there is great beauty in it, for as that great of an awareness of the unknown can make one feel profoundly alone. This can only happen if you choose to ignore the infinite life force that abounds you. For it is the great spaces and darkness of the cosmos that accentuates the majesty of the stars, like glimmering breadcrumbs leading us back to our true state of pure reverence. Okay, so yeah, your guys' group energy was pretty intense. This to me felt really like shadow work. So if you're not familiar with that term, it's really looking at the parts of ourselves that we very purposefully do not look at. It's very uncomfortable. It's the spaces that we keep memories that cause us either a lot of confusion, a lot of conflicted feelings, unresolved feelings of a very unpleasant nature. So why would you choose to go into shadow work? Because actually all of that space that's dark, where we keep all of this kind of stuff, what we can actually do is go in there and clear it out, kind of like a garage full of crap. You can go in there and clear it out, and you can come into an experience of yourself and your life that is much more free. You know, bring illumination into those spaces, so you're a more illuminated being, but you're also freer, lighter. You don't have spaces within you that you're afraid to look at. So when it comes to fear, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. So like for me, you know, depending on, you know, what's going on, but in general, my attitude is like, the more afraid of something I am, the better it is for me to go face it. And not necessarily in a foolish way, but in a courageous way. Because if that's such a source of fear for me, and I can go and face that and eliminate that source of fear, that's like this huge influencer of fear that no longer exists in my life. So it's like taking out a big hitter, you know. I could focus on little things and slowly work my way up, or just like boom, go for the thing that's most like looming over me. And whenever possible, I try to do that. It's all a process. We're all trying. So yeah, it was like there was a lot of energy coming through of just like, yeah, it was really kind of like a lost in space kind of feeling of like imagining being, you know, lost in space. You're an astronaut that got left behind, and you're just like all by yourself in this like sea of stars, you know, like, and that's it. And then the star card came through. So there's just more confirmation on that. Also got the Seven of Swords and milk and honey. So basically the message that I'm getting through for the overall advice for this group is the star card, when it came through, really called back to this part of the channeled message. Like glimmering breadcrumbs leading us back to our true state of pure reverence. So yeah, when you're doing this shadow work, what I find can be really helpful is creating reference points, a center point. So however you want to do that, a particular meditation, a particular chant, particular breath work, anything that's really has always been a really accessible point of like coming to a place of feeling centered and grounded. Because when you do shadow work, you can get really caught up in the darkness. So you do want those stars, those glimmering breadcrumbs, to lead you back to your deeper truth you know. You don't want to get too identified with the old stuff you're clearing out, you know, too caught up in it. So that Seven of Swords for me is coming through as be strategic about it. Don't be cavalier. So just, you know, use your tools. If you know you're going to be, you know, doing some introspection and you know you've got some stuff coming up that doesn't feel like it's going to be good coming out, think about that. How can you create a space that is most fitting for that kind of work, and do that. And then the milk and honey, what I'm getting with that is this is actually going to be not nearly as bad as you think it's going to be. So milk and honey is coming through to me as like very nourishing. It's very light and feels good, but it's also very nourishing. And I mean, it's nourishing in a sense of like these are kind of things that you think about in like spa products, like face masks and things like that, hair masks. It's very nourishing in that way. It's not like vegetables, you know, so it's kind of luxurious but also nourishing. And the other aspect of that that's coming through is that you can really, there's also a rainbow there, and we all know that, you know, analogy is you can't have the rainbow without the rain. You can't have stars without night sky. So it's really about taking the appropriate attitude towards looking at these aspects of yourself and how they're affecting your life. So that's the overall message. I'm going to pull some cards to check in with what your intuition is calling you to examine and what it is calling you to express. So I'm just going to quickly clear and shuffle the cards from the last group. And I'm going to pull 3 cards for both those questions. So it's a good idea when you're getting a tarot reading, especially in this kind of way, to really let the message come in, be receptive, but also to allow yourself to fit it to you. It's kind of like if you take a song and then you personalize it. It's your life, so you know better than anyone how it applies. First question is, what is your intuition calling you to examine? And the second question is, what is your intuition calling you to express? Let's see, shall we? All right. Okay. Your intuition is calling you. You got the Yin card here. You've got the Nine of Swords. You've got Judgment and the Five of Coins. So what's coming through for me, what your intuition is calling you to examine, so I'm just going to be honest. So you've got the Yin card there. So that definitely, without a doubt, represents receptivity. So given the channeled message and the, you know, the overall reading cards, the message I'm getting for what your intuition's calling you to examine is your own role in the experience of fear. That's the Nine of Swords. It's all about fears. And the Five of Coins is all about loss. Fear and loss. This is very lack mentality. It's very limiting. It's very basically what the natural kind of reaction to that is to shut down. And it's basically a message from your intuition saying you need to examine how shutting down is affecting the situation, whatever it is you're afraid of, whatever it is you feel that you've lost. How is being shut down helpful to that situation? How have you, like, what role did you play in this outcome? A lot of times we avoid looking at that, and we're not honest with ourselves about that. But the problem with that is if we're not honest about it, we don't really take a good look at what role we played in any circumstances that we do not want to be in, we cannot begin to create a system where we make sure we don't do that again. If we don't take responsibility for what we did to get us into a situation, the chances are we're going to continually find ourselves in that same situation over and over again. Okay, so that's what your intuition's asking you to look at. What your intuition's asking you to express. What I'm getting here is a commitment to basically living your best life. You've got the Go the Distance card. You've got the Nine of Cups. This is about your wish come true. This is about you fulfilling yourself. And you got the Magician. So the Magician is about kind of making things happen, because the Magician is an alchemist. An alchemist transmutes different materials into other materials. And it's in the tarot kind of symbolic of the role of manifester, and that in the sense that there's also kind of like an art to it. The magician is a manifester, but he's an artist with it. It's from a very deep place. It's very it's not on such a basic level. It's on a bigger level. So thinking about like beyond yourself. However, with the Nine of Cups there too, which apparently that's also about manifesting something that's really fulfilling to yourself, that fills you up, and the going the distance is about sticking with that. It's about like pushing forward, striving towards that finish line. Not that there really is a finish line in life, but each, marker and each goal we set for ourselves is the finish line until we get there, and then there's a new one. So not giving up, taking belief, taking ownership of the fact that you have the power to prevail. It's in your hands. Okay, so group 3, that is your reading. Appreciate you watching the channel, liking, subscribing. If you feel like there's someone you know who may also get something out of this reading, you can go ahead and share it with them. I love to get comments too, so if you have any comments or questions, I'd love for you to share those. And yeah, appreciate you coming along for the ride, and I will see you next time.